Good day, NFL point spread aficionados. Welcome to gamblerworld.net. NFL preview week 10. Jim Feist and Paul Bovi are here. Jim Feist, of course, Mr. Vegas. And Paul Bovi, every time the bookmakers see him, they turn their head and hope he just walks out the sportsbook. Paulie, welcome. Jim, welcome. Week 10 in the NFL. Do you guys believe we've gotten this far along in the season already? It seems like the off season is just eons, and then the season just passes us by like a lightning bolt. Jim?
Well, it goes too fast for me.
Yeah.
I love the NFL, and now they got college basketball going, and I'm taking a little slow early. Usually I speed it up, but now I'm taking a little slow because it's just trying to focus on the NFL with
Right.
the recent. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I think in the last 3 or 4 weeks, the favorites in the NFL have been doing remarkably well. I had a guy call me that other day, and he says, "I can't pick a loser." And I looked at what he's picking. He's picking all favorites.
Well, Jim, the last 3 out of 4 weeks out here, the bookmakers have taken a beating.
Yes.
Like you said, 1 week we had like 12 favorites out of 16 games that come through. Paulie, we were at the halfway point now. And there's some teams that look like they're going to cruise right into the playoffs, and then there's teams that are on the fence. And, with it being a 17-game schedule now, do you think teams like the Jets, who only have 3 wins, have a chance still to make the playoffs? They're 3-6 after 9 games. That gives them 8 more games to go 7-1, 6-2. Anyone else aside from the Jets that seem outside the box right now, do you think may have a shot in the second half of the season?
I'll tell you who has a shot. And the Jets do have a chance. They got several offensive linemen this week that are questionable, which kind of leaves me undecided there as to which way to go in the game against Arizona. But the Miami Dolphins they put in a very promising effort against the Bills on Sunday and actually should have won that game. They ran the ball right down Buffalo's throat. Tua 25-28. Yeah. The stats will show 230 plus, but it was actually better because there was a loss of 24 yards on the last play, and that obviously diminished his passing yardage, much to the chagrin of people who bet over on Tua's prop yardage bet because he ended up going under. But Miami has a softer schedule after this game. I believe they play Las Vegas and New England at home. So conceivably, they could get to 5-6. And I know it's a big if, but if Tua happens to stay healthy, they would have a shot to make the playoffs, perhaps a better one than the Jets.
Okay, Paul, right now Cincinnati and Indianapolis are both 4-5, and it looks like they would be fighting out for the final and 7th spot in the the AFC. Denver at 5-4. Did you anticipate this, Jim, that they would be in the hunt at this time? With Bo Nix, a rookie, starting at quarterback?
Well, I like their head coach.
Yeah.
I think he knows how to put a team together. He coached Drew Brees, who is a smallish type quarterback, and which is similar to Nix. And Nix had some pretty good gradings coming out of college, and a lot of people thought he was a lot better than some others that went higher. No, I'm not really surprised that they're doing well. I think they will continue to do well. Like I said, and their defense is pretty good. They've got the makings of a strong contender. Of course, they're in a very difficult division. So I don't know that they're going anywhere this year, but
right.
I like the base. I like the base they're building there.
Well, right now they're playoff bound. They're 5-4 on the year. Pittsburgh at 6-2 has the most difficult schedule left going forward. And you had mentioned how easy the Dolphins' schedule is. They're 6-2. Baltimore 6-3. Funny anomaly on Thursday night, if Baltimore plays, they will have played 10 games, while Pittsburgh will have played 8. Rams, Bears, and Niners are fighting it out in the NFC West. And I think, Paulie, that's what we talked before. I think in order to get anyone in the NFC West, we're going to have to win that division. The Rams, Niners, Arizona, you said it, and they're all bunches up there right now. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because the Niners going to have to contend with the Rams, and they've got a way to go. San Francisco's no lock to be in the playoffs.
Well, they're getting players back. they're getting people back, and CMC's coming back, and I can't count the Niners out. I mean, they know how to win. They may not know how to win the big game when they get into the Super Bowl because they had a couple chances to do that, but they're pretty damn tough. But you look at the Rams and you look at the Cardinals, and I don't know what to make of Seattle. I mean, they throw in some clunkers occasionally, but that's a pretty tough division out there. And I can't count the Niners out at all.
All right, excuse me, Jim. Paulie, who do you see making it out of the West in the NFC?
Well, look, the 49ers have the pedigree. And in defense of San Francisco, there's a couple games on that schedule that they should have won. Jake Moody could have solidified the game against the Rams, misses a field goal, Rams come back, win the game, which would not have happened. They've had receivers that have been out. Debo's missed at least a game or two. Jennings missed a game. And obviously CMC from the beginning of the year. But Mason is actually filled in commendably. So I just think that you got to go with the pedigree. You got to go with the history. 49ers win football games. Arizona has looked great at times. Yeah. And at times they've looked a little pedestrian. I mean, you look at that Ram game, God, they annihilated them. What was it, 41-10? Murray goes 17-21 for 266. They've had some really great efforts, Arizona has, and then they'll regress. So I'm looking for the 49ers to come out of the division because ultimately they are the best team.
All right, thank you, Paulie. We are gamblersworld.net. This is Jim Feist, Paul Bovi, and Chip Chirimbes. You can buy all of our premium plays by following the links at gamblersworld.net. Jim will have a package up there, Paulie and I as well. Big weekend in store, not only in NFL, college football, but we've got the NBA cooking right there as we are right now. All right, guys, don't forget to give us a like now and subscribe because we'll be here every week giving you complimentary winners from the experts out of Las Vegas. And we're going to go to Mr. Vegas himself. Jim, one of the most interesting games on the board on Sunday is going to be Pittsburgh at Washington. I don't think anyone anticipated that both these teams would be where they are right now at this point in the season. But does Daniels for Washington has turned that club around? And in Pittsburgh now we have two-headed quarterbacks that are working out there. And Tomlin just seems to be rolling the right numbers when he throws the dice.
Tomlin is magic. They all talk about him not having a losing season for years. He is the kind of guy that knows how to coach. He knows how to grind out a game and coach. And Russell Wilson, now he made the change a couple of weeks ago, and Russell looks a little bit better than he had looked the last year at Seattle and the time that he had at Denver. Yeah. He did not look all that good. He's looking better right now. Right. They play tough defense. This is going to be a tough game for Washington. You've got to remember, you got a rookie quarterback, but he looks awesome. No question about it. But you also have to talk about Washington has a new owner. They have the new head coach. They've got new everything, offensive, defensive coordinators. New
attitude, Jim. New attitude.
The great momentum, attitude, everything. But you can't say anything negative about what Pittsburgh's doing either. This is going to be a hell of a game. And, when you're taking experience with a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who already won a Super Bowl, probably should have won another one except for a Pete Carroll questionable call. This is a tough one. Yeah. Not easy.
No, Paulie, between them, they're 13-3-1 against the number. I mean, Pittsburgh 6-2, and Washington's been rolling over everybody 7-1-1. Daniels, 71.1% completion, second in the NFL. This is a rookie who's reading defenses and throwing quick passes. I think the quarterback matchup is part of the ambiance of this game. It draws me to it. Washington's fourth in the NFL on defense. And rushing against the run, too, as well. They really stifled the opposition there. And Pittsburgh's strong part of their game is their running game. And they're 164 yards a game on the ground. You see these two clashing, and do you give anybody an edge here? Washington at home or Pittsburgh having coming in with the experienced quarterbacks?
I hate to throw shade, but I think they're both a little overhyped. Like I'm not sold on this Steeler pass defense, okay? Because I watched Joe Flacco come in, and I remember when he replaced Richardson that game, he got injured. Joe Flacco comes in. Dak Prescott drove the field. Prescott put up big numbers. I think he was like 29 to 42 for 350. And Dallas goes on and wins the game. And I see them as being a little overrated. And as far as Washington, they have been fortunate this year on several occasions. And I hate to say it, and I know I'm defending my Giants again, but this past week, God, I don't know what Dable was doing. First of all, I had the Giants plus the points at 4. And again, he's going for these 2-pointers. The abomination of a 2-point try against Pittsburgh should have gotten him off that, but instead he did it, and they end up losing the game by 5. And when Jones is upright, he's a very respectable quarterback, but they were able to get to him a few times. They were lucky in the first game. They have been fortunate this year on several counts. Defensively, definitely some holes in their secondary, though they did make a very solid acquisition in getting Lattimore from the Saints. I believe they pretty much gave him away. So that should strengthen the back end a little bit. So I don't know where to go with this game. And these are the kinds of games I take a pass on, and maybe I'll find a spot in live wagering, but I don't see anything strong here.
All right, boy, I'm willing to take the under in this game, and I'll tell you why. Not only because the Giants only made 1 extra point after 6 touchdowns against this Washington team. I had them both times as well. I had them the second time. With 4.5, Paulie, and to get beat by 5. No kicking extra points. He's 1 for 6, going for 2. It's got to be a defensive matchup in my mind. I mean, 310 yards offensively and 328 yards offensively, these two teams putting together. I see this game staying under despite the great quarterback play that we're anticipating. And remember, this is gamblersworld.net, and we'll be giving you NFL preview week 10. Jim Feist, Paul Bovi, and myself. Log on, follow the buy links, become a winner with us. We've got some of the top handicappers from Las Vegas in the nation on this site, and you shouldn't hesitate to check out our premium plays because, Paulie, I think you're sitting now running away in the NFL. And Jim, we're ready to go again with another big game in the NFC. And we were talking about this team, the San Francisco 49ers, who are traveling to Tampa, and Tampa has sort of hit the skids of late. How do you see this one working out?
Well, I really don't think Tampa's hit the skids. I think that they've had some unfortunate losing number 1 and number 2, a wide receiver. Baker Mayfield is playing as one of the top quarterbacks in football. He's very tough. He doesn't give up. He plays hurt, and he's played tremendously. The last couple of weeks, they put up a hell of a battle, and they argue whether they should have gone for 2 at the end of the regulation or not.
Right.
That's individual issue. But they played a hell of a game at world champion Chiefs, and they've been tough all year long. And with the number 1 and number 2 out, they filled in with some younger guys. Bowles has done a good job coaching them up. They've won that division a couple years now in a row. And here's the problem. You got a very well-rested Niner team coming in there, getting players back. And they also know, the players know what the hell's going on. I don't have to tell you that. They also know that they're at a war with those other 3 teams in their division. So they're coming in there with guns a-blazing. And this is not a great spot for the Buccaneers, who I had the other night and cashed that ticket. But short week, playing the Niners, getting healthier, more time to prepare. This is going to be tough. This is a tough spot for the Buccaneers.
And the Niners are favored on the road here. Paul, both these teams have been playing to the over. Tampa Bay 7-2 to the over, and San Francisco 5-3. San Francisco is the number 2 offense in the NFL total yardage wise, and Tampa Bay's 30th in defense. Do you see this opposing each other here, and for San Francisco to be able to run the ball on the Buccaneers?
The Buccaneers secondary is well, I don't want to be too strong with this, but they're trash. Okay, you look at what Atlanta did to them in the first game when Mooney, the two receivers combined for, I think it was 21 receptions for like 250 yards, and then they came back and did almost the same thing. By the way, I think Cousins had just lights out numbers that game against them. And then the Ravens, they come back. And initially they were trading punches with the Ravens, right, but then they had some injuries during the game and they just couldn't keep up. So Tampa's the type of team that they have to keep up with respect to scoring points. And that's the only way they're going to win games. Now, they played a great game on Monday night. And there is no question, when you are the inferior team on the road, you want to shorten the game. You don't want to lengthen the game and play another period against Patrick Mahomes. I really like Todd Bowles. He's a very, very nice man. But nice men make bad decisions, and that was brutal.
So he should have gone for two without a doubt there. I mean, that's just... Excuse me, Jim, go ahead.
With that thought, Paul, do you really want to play an extra 10 minutes or a quarter against Patrick Mahomes and a world champion? That was the thing. Yeah, you may be playing against a different type of quarterback, a different type of team, different types of coaches that are not that quality. I thought it was a mistake. Granted, they could have lost the game either way, but I think they had a chance, at least 48%, 50% chance of winning the game right there on the spot. I think it was a mistake.
And, that's the point, Jim. You get a chance to win the game on the spot. There's other analytics that they're following, going for 2 points in the second period. I think it throws your whole momentum off. I think it really breaks the team's, the momentum. For the most part, you just scored a touchdown, and then you end up coming off to the sidelines on a flat note if you don't make the 2 points. Thank you very much, Jim. And Paul, I think this game goes over the total.
I got to make a point there because – so if Tampa and Kansas City were playing one quarter of football, it would be a 3-point number. Kansas City would be favored by 3 points.
Probably.
And you put a money line on that. So if you, as a coach, can relegate it to basically 50-50, I mean, there is just no decision to be made. Yeah. It's an easy decision. So I'm not saying fire the guy because of this, but I wouldn't go that far. But that's inexcusable. And by the way,
Paul, one of the things that's happened, and we've all been around this. These guys know football. These coaches I'm talking about, they're really, really brilliant at football. But now you throw in this new analytics idea, and I know from playing poker, you're sitting there and say, you shouldn't play deuce 10. Okay, which is one of the favorite hands that Doyle Brunson played to win a tournament. But there are situations you're looking at who the hell we're playing. We're on the road. We're in the rain. You're playing the best team in football for the last 3 years. And like you just said, you can lower a negative expectation to a 50-50 proposition. You just said it perfectly. And they could just get that in their heads.
There's Jim, going for time and a place for everything. Who you're going up against, of course, is a key factor, and the time and score of the game. I mean, going for 2 in the last play there, it makes sense. Going for 2 when you're down 14 and score a touchdown to me doesn't make sense. All right, thank you very much. Right. I think this game's going over the total. Mayfield and Purdy are going to light up the skies, and I see the game going over. Detroit and Houston are going to round it up on Sunday night, and kind of a lot of interest in this game. Detroit's been annihilating people 7-1 against the number. And Paul, I'll start with you this time. Houston's at home. They've only covered 3 of their 9 games. They're only gone over 2 of the last 10. How do you see? Do you see the Lions just continue to roar into Houston?
Again, this is a tough one for me. I could make a case for the Lions. They've had a few big games. They've had a few big wins. And you wonder when they're going to be derailed. Are the Texans going to do it? The Texans have not been playing very good football this year, in my opinion. They've been lucky to come out with several wins, but they are home. I think the loss of Nico Collins at the beginning of the year really hurt them, and certainly C.J. Stroud has taken a step back in his sophomore year. There is no question about that, because a few weeks ago, God, he threw for 86 yards against the Packers, and 86 yards. And somehow they managed to cover the game. I'm still smarting over that one. But anyway, this is a game I would just take a pass. But at the same time, I'm not going to get in front of the locomotive here. And the locomotive that's just barreling down the track are the Detroit Lions, who also picked up a pass rusher before the trade deadline to hopefully aid and abet the defense to compensate for the loss of Aiden Hutchinson.
All right, Jim, going to Texas, you think the Lions will go in there and take care of business, or they're going to get ambushed here?
I stood in front of the train last week with the Packers, and I got crushed. And I still do not understand how strong this team is. And it's just, the thing is, though, at some point in time, all that catches up to you. Packer game was a big, emotional road division game, and they wanted it, and they got it, and they did it in style. Now they're going to a non-division game on the road against a team that's been struggling, that might get one of their receivers back, and they're well coached. Yes, we have regression from Stroud. It's going to be hard. I would like to take Houston in this game, but I also like to take more points than what they're giving me.
Yeah.
And now teasers have become very expensive. The bookmakers have made the numbers very tough to play. But this would be one of those kind of games where I would probably want to take Houston on a teaser and move it up. You get 9.5 or 10 with it. But like I said, the prices on some of these teasers now, this is in the old days when you were getting a decent deal. Some of these prices are ridiculous. And some of them have gone to ties, lose, and all that. So I'm not recommending it, but it's very difficult. If I was taking maybe 4.5 or 6, I would definitely be on Houston, but I'm not. It's not being offered, so I probably won't be.
All right, Jim, I'm wondering if this line will move up or not. That's of interest there, because an attractive home dog on a Sunday night with this Houston team, I think, is the way the public's going to view this game, in spite of how the Lions are just destroying the opposition. They've covered all but one game so far this season. All right, that's about it for us on Week 10 on Gamblers.net preview. Jim and Paulie, thank you very much. Jim, what do you have going this weekend? And Paul, you give your chance to tell us what you got up there on the site.
I've got a bunch of college games up there already posted. I've got 1 or 2 college basketball games posted.
Okay.
And I've got some totals and pro plays in the NFL posted as well. So there's a lot of material out there right now for the players to go get.
Paulie, are you doing any NBA yet? I know your football's been running really hot, and we really appreciate these NFL insights. But what about the NBA? You doing anything with that?
No, I'm just agonizing over the start of the Knicks. This Bridges guy. Look, the Knicks have lost 4 games by a combined 46 points, and he's a minus 83 while he's on the court. I was not an advocate of this acquisition, and I'm hoping it gets better. But no NBA, but I will tell you that in college, you're right, Chip, I've been killing it. I posted only 2 plays on Saturday. UTSA +7 over Memphis. They went outright by 8 points. It wasn't even that close. Memphis got a garbage touchdown late. And I also had the New Mexico-Wyoming game over, and that hurdled the number by before halftime, about 4 minutes before the half. And NFL was great. I had the Rams. Rams were my big play. I'm not going to say I didn't sweat it out. I did. But ultimately, they did get the money, and we've been running hot in both leagues. I have a very, very strong play on Friday. I posted it the other day. It's a 10-unit play. I rarely post those. So if you're watching this, I suggest you get it. I labeled it a 10-dime play, and there's a reason I labeled it a 10-dime play. Go figure it out. In the NFL, I also have in the NFL, I also have a very strong play, and I will say it's very approaching a 10-dime play. So, and it will probably get there, but the number has kind of gotten away from me, so I'm probably going to keep it where it is. But anyway, we've been hot. Look to score some more wins this weekend, and best of luck to everybody.
Thank you, Paulie. Looking forward to that. That's for
Take
sure.
care, guys.
And
Great
I
show.
like to let you guys know that I have a big game on Saturday, and my megabuck plays, of course, are running hot, 6-2 in the NBA right now. So log on, follow the buy links, go to gamblersworld.net. We got 14 professional handicappers out there, and of course, you should become a big time winner with us. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget to give us a like. To the best of you, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jim. Good luck to everyone out there.